Here at the Seekonk Speedway in Seekonk, Massachusetts, as we get set for race 4, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour season. Kyle Rickey joined by Ben Dodge as we're set to go. A great field of cars getting set in the pit area, qualifying taking place earlier today, and so many storylines coming into this 4th event of the season.
There is no question about it. The storylines are amazing, and there's so much to take a look at. This is a very special event. Bob Caton is a modified guy. He owns a company called J&R Precast. It's a 150-lap event. And, Kyle, this guy sponsors race cars. He can be seen every Friday night at a local short track in Connecticut, helping out young talent come up through the ranks. His display of beautiful trucks, and I mean beautiful, I love trucks, is located on the midway here at this racetrack. And the unique part about this track, Kyle, is the fact that it is like an arena. In days of old, it's gladiators literally coming onto the racetrack, and of course, everybody all around the racetrack. There's not a bad seat in the house. And that's what makes this facility so unique and so very, very special. There's so much history. And one of the key ingredients, Kyle, is the fact that this is the only racetrack left in the state of Massachusetts. That's pretty amazing, because at one time we had the Westboroughs, we had the Riverside Park Speedways, and we had all the other different racetracks over the years that were a part of it. It's narrowed down to this, and this is by far the showplace that the Vendetti family has hosted some of the most incredible competition you'll find anywhere in the country. And it's being put to the test here today. This stop is so important. Kyle, why is it so important?
It's the first bull ring of the year for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. You talked about the Seekonk Speedway. It's been here since 1946. Great racing each and every week, including here tonight. Several of their local divisions, including the late models, on hand here this evening. But our focus will shift now to the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour teams. Opening ceremonies coming up here shortly. I guess the big story is the driver everyone's been talking about the last couple of weeks won the pole here earlier this evening. Justin Bonsignore in a race car here tonight, going to continue his streak of consecutive starts, and at least the fastest earlier this afternoon.
He certainly was. And Kyle, one key ingredient in all of this, we talked to Matt Hirschman earlier today. Hirschman has been the big winner here. Every time he has won a Whelen Modified Tour stop at this racetrack, or even an open modified stop, here's what the situation has been. He sat on the pole, he was able to dominate the racing action and take down the victory. So today, Justin Bonsignore is going to have to see how his luck goes with the spin of a wheel, and that wheel will determine who will get the redraw and how many. So right now, before we go to that wheel and that procedure, you might think Bonsignore's got the best seat in the house. That could become 10 with the spin of a wheel and the draw of a number.
And that pre-race redraw will take place here shortly for Justin Bonsignore, but he did win the pole here earlier this afternoon, the American Racer Pole Award, and he'll be officially credited with pole position. The other big story, Ben, early on this season, Steven Kopsick picked up his first win ever in his career at the Martinsville Speedway a couple of months ago, and he backed it up at the Thompson Icebreaker last month. He could become the first driver to win their first 3 events on this tour in consecutive events.
Certainly has. The only other drivers that have ever been close to do anything like this was Ricky Fuller back in 1988. No other driver has ever won 3 consecutives, as we've said before. Interestingly enough, Steven Kopsick started this year. He said, I just wanted to win my first race on the Modified Tour. He won the grandfather clock from Martinsville Speedway, went on to Thompson Speedway. This is a guy who's not only a talented race driver that knows how to turn left, but he is an individual that understands setup and cars themselves. Now, his girlfriend, Marissa Colvin, is celebrating a birthday today. But what she said she wanted for her birthday earlier this afternoon in the paddock area, she says, I just want one thing. 3 wins. This would be the 3rd. It doesn't seem that difficult to me, but I think for Steven Kopsik, it's not going to be quite as easy, but he certainly has the talent and the ability to get the job done.
He comes into tonight as the championship point leader by just 7 over Austin Beers, Tyler Ripkema third, Patrick Emmerling fourth, Justin Bonsignor, as you get a good look at Justin there, rolling out onto the racetrack, currently 5th in the standings, just 20 points out of the lead for Justin, who continues that win or that consecutive streak here today. After we thought it might come to an end, 245 starts here on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour for JB.
Well, we've got some surprises also in this one. Patrick Emmerling did not qualify among the top 10. He's going to be starting back in the 11th position. Kyle Bonsignor is back there. And Matt Hirschman, instead of starting among the draw cars, he's going to be back in the 13th position. I think the biggest surprise in practice today was Paulie Hartwig III out of Township, New Jersey. Paulie Hartwig moved to the top of the charts in the first session of practice, backed it up in the second session of practice. This kid's got a ton of practice. Hard to believe at the start of this season, he was not even allowed to compete in the first stop, which was at the new Smyrna Speedway. Why was that? He was too young. Maybe young in years, but not in his ability to be able to get the job done.
Just 15 years old for Paulie Hartwig, although it's been a couple of rough outings for him in his 2 starts here on the tour. Broke a rear end at the Martinsville Speedway to finish in 29th. Had an oil leak at the Thompson Speedway to finish in the 28th position a couple of weeks ago. Will debut here on the tour at the Seekonk Speedway here tonight for Paulie Hartwig. And I think another big story, and this driver we know won't be a part of the redraw, the driver that qualified 19th, Doug Coby, is going to have a steep hill to climb here this evening.
He certainly is. The last time he was at this racetrack, he was competing with the Tineo number 44 car. That is a car that Chase Dowling will be running in today's event. He met with misfortune. Another competitor and him made contact, and it kind of sidelined him for a while. Today, this is a brand new deal and a brand new team, and it is going to be one of the teams to watch. The new car experience itself, as you can hear the rumble of the Mighty Modifieds in the background. For those of you that are watching on Flow, or for those of you that are here in the grandstand around this grand arena that the Venvetti family has owned for so many seasons, that's another side story, Kyle. This racetrack has stayed in the same family for all of those years. A lot of racetracks are leased out, they're sold, they're passed on to somebody else, but that is not the case with this particular racetrack. And that's what makes it so very special and unique. There is $106,000 plus on the line for this afternoon's event. And as we said before, this is one of the bull ring stops, and we know that it is going to be one of those events that you're going to be holding on to the edge of your seat for each and every circuit. This is not going to be one of those ho-hum events. It's going to be using the chrome horn, using the rub rails, and using the bottom shot in some cases. We talked to Doug Coby. Doug Coby said this racetrack has 3 grooves, an upper groove, a lower, and of course a middle groove. But one of the things he said was, some people think it's a very rough track. The surface is rough. It is not. What the surface has is literally kind of some rumble type effects to it. So it gives the competitor the opportunity to misread what the race car is doing itself.
All right, it looks like we're set to go. The NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour from Seekonk Speedway is coming up next.
Tonight in southeastern Massachusetts, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour races its first bull ring of the season, the 1/3 mile Seekonk Speedway. A near-capacity crowd is filing in to see all the stars, including Matt Hirschman, who has won the last 3 races at this historic oval no one has ever won 4. Then there is Steven Kopsik, the winner of the last 2 races at Martinsville and Thompson, and is the current championship leader. 6-time champion Doug Coby is in the field tonight and is a 2-time Seekonk winner and in search of his first victory since 2023. 4-time champion Justin Bonsignor is here and will keep his streak of 243 consecutive starts alive. It's a beautiful short track Saturday night in southern New England. Race 4 of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour season. The J&R Precast 150 from Seekonk Speedway is next.
There's nothing like it. The sound of the mighty modified.
The NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour set to go.
The green is out.
He spins the tires and we're racing. Very fast, very intense laps.
A little bit of a stutter step there. They come together.
There's a number of 10 to 13 different drivers that can easily win this race. Trouble turn 4.
Drifts up just a bit.
Into the outside wall, but he takes the checkered flag.
The Whelen Modified Tour is set to do battle.
Just 8 miles east of Providence, Rhode Island, and 48 miles southwest of Boston, Massachusetts, lies the 1/3 mile Seekonk Speedway. The crowd has been filing in for hours, and not only are the temperatures going to be hot on the racetrack, it's also heated up in the air. Temperatures well into the 70s here this evening. Not a cloud in the sky, and 68 degrees right now. Hello and welcome to Seekonk Speedway. Kyle Rickey joined by Ben Dodge for tonight's J&R Precast 150 for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. The 4th race of the year, Ben, on a very unique racetrack.
It certainly is. This is one of the favorite stops. And in addition to all of that, you look at this arena. As we said before, they seat all the way around. Just like in days of old, this is like the gladiators. And in this case, the gladiators are the men of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. A wide racetrack that offers just about everything that you can throw at it. And only a few can master it. You either get the setup for this racetrack or you struggle terribly.
Qualifying was held earlier this afternoon, and winning the American Racer Pole Award was Justin Bonsignor, but he may not start there. The redraw is about to happen trackside, and to conduct that redraw is the 3rd member of our broadcast team. We welcome in Bonza Tufa.
Thank you, Kyle, and a pleasant Saturday to everybody here at the Seekonk Speedway and everyone watching on Flow Racing. Yes, Justin Bonsignor is the American Racer Pole Award winner, but tonight is the first time this season we have the qualifying redraw, where our fastest qualifier will decide how many of the top qualifiers will redraw for their starting position. As I mentioned, Justin Bonsignor is our Pole Award winner. Today, it seems like you've had a solid car all night. How was it in practice, and what do you have for the race tonight?
Yeah, obviously we have a really good car. We practiced well, and we were able to back it up and put it on the pole. So we'll see what happens here in a couple of minutes with the draw. It's going to determine how the night plays out. But I think we got a good race car, and hopefully long run we can, even if we have to come back through the field, we can. So appreciate all the fans coming out tonight, and appreciate Flo, and we'll see what we can do.
Well, we got the top 10 qualifiers here standing behind you, so you have the honor of spinning the wheel. Give it a good rip, and let's see how many of the top qualifiers get to redraw tonight. Where is it going to land, fans? It can go 4, 6, 8, or 10. That was a really good spin by Justin. Where is it going to be? It could be a 10. It could be a 10. It is the top 10. The entire top 10 will redraw, and Justin, being the fastest qualifier, you get to draw first, so come on down over here. You get to pick, and when you pick, show the number to everybody so they can see. What do you have?
4. We'll take that.
4th place. Justin Bonsignor says we'll take that. He'll be starting 4th in the 150-lap feature. Next up, John McKennedy, our 2nd fastest qualifier. Come over here, John. You'll be drawing from this bucket. Let's see where you end up. He's always fast here at Seekonk Speedway.
Ooh.
What'd you get?
6.
6th. 6th place for John McKennedy. So he'll be starting on the outside of the 3rd row. Now we got Austin Beers. 3rd fastest qualifier tonight.
3rd.
Starting 3rd in the 150-lap race. Next up is Mr. Chase Dowling. He's won a couple times at Seekonk and Modifieds. Where is he going to draw?
10th.
10th, so he'll have some work to do, but like I said, Chase knows how to get around this place. He is very fast. Andrew Moeller in the 82 team qualified top 5. Let's see where he winds up.
P5, all right.
Qualified 5th, starting 5th. Had a couple of those. Now it's Ron Silk's turn. One of the consistent runners in the Modified Tour this year. Qualified 8th, so he'll be starting in the outside of row 4. Then we have Steven Kopsick trying to go for 3 wins in a row. Where you qualify?
I qualified seventh.
Second. So, Steven Kopsik, before you go, how do you feel about getting 3 in a row tonight?
It's possible. We have a good car tonight. Super thankful to have the crew I have and be running well, and just hope we can keep it rolling. We're good tonight, but there's, everyone's pretty damn close, so we'll see what happens.
Only a couple tenths separate most of the field, so Kopsik will get going from the outside the front row. Craig Lutz, 7th fastest qualifier, 8th fastest qualifier. He winds up 7th place for Lutz. I don't think anyone has drawn the pole yet, so let's see if Mike Christopher Jr. is feeling lucky tonight. Don't peek. Let's see what he's got.
Let's go, baby!
Mike Christopher Jr. draws number 1. He'll be starting up front. Well, Michael, how do you feel about your car after practice today? How do you think that 31's going to be after that podium at Thompson?
As Craig Lutz just said, we're going to start from the pole and low and slow.
Low and slow, there you go. Trying to protect that inside line, looking for a good run, looking for his second career NASCAR Modified Tour win. Lastly, but not the least, Tyler Ripkema. He'll be starting 9th spot. So the old blue number 3 will be starting 9th. That is your top 10 redraw for tonight's J&R Precast 150. We'll toss it back up to Kyle and Ben to get the introduction started momentarily.
All right, thank you very much, Bonza. Down trackside as the top 10 have been able to redraw their starting positions after qualifying today, and Michael Christopher Jr. selecting the pole just a moment ago. He'll bring the fields to the green flag here in just a moment.
Sure will, and of course, as we said, so many of those different side stories. What you have to be aware of is positions 11th through 22nd will remain the same as they did through their time trials and qualifying there. That means that Patrick Emmerling will be starting back in the 11th spot with Kyle Bonsignor in the 12th position. And then that next row will be, of course, Matt Hirschman along with Paulie Hartwig III. So a long way to go in this event. And already we've seen how the plot has thickened because all of a sudden Michael Christopher Jr., who did not have one of the fastest cars in the house in earlier sessions today, however, he finds himself being, well, the car up front in row number 1. Steven Kopsik, an amazing story there. He'll be starting to the outside of that front row, looking for that hat trick. 3 in a row here at Seekonk.
Seekonk Speedway, we talked about it a bit earlier. Very unique bull ring here on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. We'll take a look at some of the track facts here in just a moment. Located here in Seekonk, Massachusetts, opened in 1946. It's a 3rd-mile asphalt oval, 72 feet wide, and we get to talking about the 2 and 3 wide racing that we often see here. That's why.
That is exactly why. And there is 3 different grooves. We told you what Doug Colby told me earlier today. He said there in the old track it used to be the bottom groove. Then it went from the bottom groove to the outside groove, and now we've added the middle groove. So 3 different approaches, 3 different strategies. And, of course, the big story behind the scenes is in 2026, there's a brand new tire combination. And that, of course, is American Racer. So far, they've competed at, of course, New Smyrna Speedway, then went on to Martinsville Speedway. You're looking at an American Racer tire that is on each and every one of the cars in the starting lineup. Now, also at Thompson Speedway. Now, interestingly enough, when I talked with several of the drivers earlier today, they said in previous years, the older brand might have had a problem with the right rear wearing. However, these competitors feel that American Racer has brought a tire that will go the distance. So, will the story be pitting? And, of course, there's no pit road here. Where do they pit, Kyle?
That is behind turn number 4 over in the pit area, behind turns 3 and 4. And the drivers were confident that not only will the tire last for 150 laps, but they'll be able to go 100% for most of the distance. Let's take a look at some of the numbers here tonight. 150 laps around the Seekonk Speedway. As we talked about just a moment ago, the tire allotment is 0. There will be no scheduled tire changes here tonight. And recent winners here at the racetrack, Matt Hirschman has won the last 3. Doug Colby also won here in 2019. Both in the field here this evening, strapping aboard their race cars. And in just a matter of moments, we'll be set to get this one underway here tonight on a beautiful Saturday night at the Seekonk Speedway. Let's go trackside to Bonza.
Race fans, are you ready to get the J&R Precast 150 underway? with the most famous words in motorsports, the folks from J&R Precast to give the command.
Wow, Kyle, what an enthusiastic group of youngsters, all a part of J&R Precast night here at the Speedway. You're looking at Polly Hartwig's car at the Jersey Shore, number 73 car. John McKennedy, a man that knows this track very well. He's won here at this racetrack. He's competing with supers. He's won in all of the other divisions of competition. And there, you're looking through the front into the cockpit of Justin Bonsignore's machine. Ryan Stone brought the car up here for today's event, and there's Doug Coby. Coby is very focused. This car and its number is extremely important to him. Going back to when he first started and won his first victory in the running at Stafford Speedway, driving for Don King. Today, he'll try to carry that number back to the winner's circle here in this afternoon's event. As the sun is starting to set, conditions are now starting to change.
They are indeed. The temperature beginning to fall. Eric Goodale getting a look at Eric behind the wheel of his GAF roofing number 58. He'll have also a long way to go, qualifying 20th earlier this evening in pole qualifying. There are the 10 cars, all of which will shuffle around on our parade and pace laps from the redraw just a little bit ago. Michael Christopher Jr. and Stephen Kopsick selecting the first and second starting positions here, while our pole winner from qualifying earlier today, Justin Bonsignore, will start to the outside of row number 2.
Then we go back to row number 3. Andrew Boulder, the rookie, will make up that row with one of the all-time veterans, and that, of course, is John McKennedy. McKennedy will make up row number 3.
Field warming up here on the front straightaway, and as soon as we get the thumbs up from all of our competitors, we will be set to go. This is the 4th race of the season for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. It's been a great year thus far. Kicked off at the New Smyrna Speedway back in February. Justin Bonsignore picked up his 48th career win on that evening. At the Martinsville Speedway a few weeks later, Stephen Kopsick picked up career win number 1 and followed it up with career win number 2 a couple of weeks ago at the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park, looking for win number 3 in a row here later this evening. But he will also have to come from deeper in the field, and that's the guy he's probably going to have to beat. Matt Hirschman, who has won the last 3 races here at Seekonk, will start 13th here tonight, has not lost a modified race at this racetrack since the summer of 2024. That's not just the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. That's several of the other touring divisions.
Several of the touring series divisions will tell the story. Patrick Emerling is going to be making up row number 6 with Kyle Bonsignore, then Matt Hirschman, Paul Hartwig the third. Then we go back to row number 8, Matty Swanson with Joey Cipriano, who was fast earlier. Another outstanding rookie, Teddy Hodgson and Trevor Catalano. Doug Coby is mired back in the field in that 10th row with Eric Goodale. And then there's a person that never drove a modified before today, comes in from Rock Glen, Pennsylvania. That's Jaden Harmon. He's been very impressive so far. And of course, John Michael Chanette, Tommy Catalano, Ken Heggie, and Corey Plummer.
So all 26 cars have been able to pull away here on the front straightaway. Again, no pit stops on the docket here tonight for teams. If you pit, you know you've got a problem.
You know, when you talk to competitors, they will tell you that if you have to go backstage here, and that's what we call the pit area, then you are going to be in big trouble. It's not going to be that easy. And as we said before, nobody knows exactly what to expect. We know what this series did on a half-mile racetrack. We know what it did on a 5/8 mile racetrack. But we don't know what it's going to do today. And of course, the fans, as Kyle had pointed out, have come out in full force to witness this event. For those of you that are watching home on Flow, all around this grand facility, there is fans that are enthusiastic, that know one thing: the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, how they pound the pavement, make the earth shake, and of course, they'll be ready for battle. From the starter's stand, a quick indication from Sean Houlihan. looks like 2 before we're set to go.
Talked about Seekonk a moment ago, looking for 3 in a row. 28 years old, driving for Whelen Motorsports from Newtown, Connecticut. Just 24 starts here in the series. It took him 22 to get that first win, and he won back-to-back, and looking to become the first driver in history to win their first 3 NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour events consecutively. Could happen here tonight.
Certainly could, and it's going to be done, if it's done today, on 3 different types of racetracks. 3 different types of racetracks, so going to be very interesting to see.
Field gets the 1 to go signal here at the start-finish line. Everybody has shuffled into their new starting positions. Mike Christopher Jr., Steven Kopsick, row 1. Austin Beers, Justin Bonsignor in row 2. Then Andrew Moeller and John McKennedy in row 3.
Row number 4 will be Craig Lutz along with Ronnie Silk. Row number 5 will be Tyler Ripkema and Chase Dowling. Row number 6, Patrick Emmerling and Kyle Bonsignor.
Field is in turn number 4, looking for the start of the J&R Precast 150. Green flag is out. We are underway, and Michael Christopher Jr. will bring the field into turn number 2 for the first time, but Kopsick not letting him get away. Strong topside in car 21. We'll see who leads lap number 1 as they come down to the line.
Christopher sets the pace, but already things are starting to happen in the outside lane. Steven Kopsick has moved there. He's being followed by Justin Bonsignor in the 51 car. Inside lane, Austin Beers, youngest champion of the Whelen Modified Tour, drifts back just a bit. The outside lane becomes racy here.
Best time to gain spots, starts and restarts, but hard to go when everybody's double wide in front. Only 2 cars have singled out. Christopher and Kopsick, 1 and 2. Bonsignor to the outside of Beers for the 3rd spot as they cross the line once again. This race going to zip off pretty quick order. Already 4 laps complete of 150, a race that saw just 4 caution flags a year ago.
Already we're seeing the top 3 cars are single file. Then they start to double up. Austin Beers is in the 4th spot. John McKennedy right there to the outside of him. Then behind them, looks like our leading rookie, Andrew Moeller and Craig Lutz, all starting to show a move. Back up front, Bonsignor makes a bid down underneath Steven Kopsick. Going. Will it be gone as he comes off turn 4?
Bonsignor had the fastest lap of the race just a couple laps ago as he positioned his car to the inside of Kopsick for the runner-up spot, and immediately looks to the inside for the race lead on Michael Christopher Jr. as they come around to lap number 8. And it's Christopher using that 2nd lane of the racetrack, but Bonsignor right now is hooked up on the bottom.
He certainly is hooked up on the bottom. He sees daylight to the inside. Remember, when we talked to these drivers, they said there were 3 lanes at this very wide racetrack. Lead change about to take place as we come off turn number 4. Bonsignor by a nose. Now Bonsignor throws it back to the bottom. Michael Christopher fights back. Can't do it. Side by side now for 4th and 5th.
Second different leader of the event at the completion of lap number 10. Justin Bonsignor goes to the front. Michael Christopher Jr. able to get that car into line just in front of Steven Kopsick. And then Ben mentioned that battle for 4th and 5th. John McKennedy, Austin Beers, Andrew Moeller in the mix in that orange number 82. He rides just in front of Craig Lutz.
Let's take a look at the bottom of the top 10. Ronnie Silk is running in the 9th position. Chase Dowling in the 44. The Tenio car is 10th. And Patrick Emmerling is up to the 11th spot. They have been side by side lap after lap. No one is giving up anything, but that's where the side-by-side point of this event is now developing.
Emmerling in that blue number 1 to the bottom, just behind the old blue number 3, Tyler Ripkema. Ron Silk in the 16 to the outside. Further up, here's Andrew Moeller, the orange 82, looking to the inside of Austin Beers, number 64 car for a spot inside of the top 5. They're 5th and 6th right now as a battle up front in turn number 4.
Well, he did the crossover, and Michael Christopher tries to take back the lead. So far, there has been 2 different leaders in the event, but Bonsignor steps on the gas and starts to pull away. Let's shift back now to the bottom of the top 10. Still Meanwhile, a car that has more tradition and a family name is the bowler number 3 car. That is Tyler Ripkema. Ripkema now into the top 8th, and behind him is a gaggle of cars, some 6 strong, and some of the best in the business.
Ripkema and that Bowler family racing team been a part of the Modified Tour since, well, before the Modified Tour, which was incepted in 1985. They were running the national modified scene for a couple of decades prior to that, running in the top 10 now. Battle for second just behind the race leaders, shaping up in turn number 4. Here comes Stephen Kopsick to the inside of Michael Christopher Jr. That race about a half a car length behind Justin Bonsignor. It is tight at the point. You can add John McKennedy to the lead battle as well.
Well, John McKennedy is a guy that comes on strong about the halfway point in an event. Meanwhile, Stephen Kopsick's got a car running on rails on the bottom. He'll move to the inside, takes over second. Second just isn't good enough. But Bonsignor continues to be the driving force up front. Look a little further back, right there with Ripkema again. That is the battle that's shaping up for the 7th spot. Craig Lutz, Patrick Emmerling in the Energizer is right there as well.
That battle on the right side of your screen, the leaders up top on the left side of your screen, and it is tight at the front. Here comes Stephen Kopsick digging on the inside of the racetrack. That car rotating well through the center of the corner and gets good drive off and is able to pull up alongside Justin Bonsignor. But Bonsignor has that high side momentum, and that's how he is able to hang on to the race lead, at least for right now. Christopher using that high side momentum as well in the 2nd spot to the outside of Kopsick.
You know, to the left of your screen, you're looking at that battle. It appears that on exit, Bonsignor has plenty of speed there. Upon entry, it appears that Kopsick is able to shake off Michael Christopher. They're still side by side. Nobody with the advantage there, and John McKennedy is directly behind them. Look to the right side of your screen, already starting to work his magic in the upper lane. For a while was Austin Beers, but suddenly that's changed. He lost 2 positions, and he's going backwards at the moment.
Yeah, little bobble there off of turn number 2 will shuffle Beers back to the 9th spot behind Emmerling and Lutz. That race for position is singled out for now, as has the race for the lead, which could get tight here. Some slower traffic in the next couple of laps will be in front of the race leaders, including Corey Plummer, Ken Hagee, John Michael Chanette, about a second or so in front of Justin Bonsignor, Stephen Kopsick, 1 and 2, and those two have been able to drive away just a bit from early race leader Michael Christopher Jr. in 3rd, Jonathan McKennedy in the 4th spot, and that lead group also includes Andrew Moeller now in 5th.
Meanwhile, we're looking at Paulie Hardwick III to the inside of Silk. Silk with the Phil Moran prepared race car. 16 runs to the outside. Paulie Hardwick trying to guard the spot. That is the battle that is raging for the 12th and 13th position. Give Hardwick that position. Here comes Matt Swanson. Swanson in the family-owned number 89 car. He's running on the inside. White car making its presence known, coming forward, and here is Joey Cipriano, the black and blue number 15. We've got a spin. It's the defending champion.
That is Austin Beers that goes around up the back straightaway. It was off of turn number 2 that car got out of shape, and he came to rest on the bottom of the racetrack for the Northampton, Pennsylvania native, the defending champion of the Tour, youngest champion ever on the Tour a year ago, and Austin will get that car righted, but does put us under caution flag for the first time here on lap number 34. Lap 35 now complete here as we are slowed, and just in time because the leaders were about to get real busy in traffic.
Certainly was, and we are on lap number 35, as we said before. Austin Beers, who hasn't finished out of the top 10 in 33 consecutive Whelen Modified Tour events. Let's take a look at it there. Seems like the back end kind of snapped around. We did make comment to the fact that the 64 seemed to be having a little bit of a problem. It started to back up just a bit. This is the Ronnie Uhouse machine as the A-Team special is back and righted in the right position, but he lost a lot of valuable ground on the racetrack. Here's the story so far. 2 different leaders in the event in 36 circuits. Michael Christopher Jr. with the lucky pick of the draw was a dominant car to go around the 51 machine and take over the lead. Stephen Kopsick has been there. He's been just a factor. He is excellent on entry. Coming on exit, it appears that Bonsignor has just a little more giddy up. It looks like we've got some cars that are possibly looking to head back to the backstage and back on pit road.
And we'll see who they are. Ron Silk stepping out of line, maybe one of them, as the Whelen caution lights are on. Whelen, the official warning lights of NASCAR, trusted to protect first responders.
Here they come, looking to head back in, and they're now heading backstage. Bonza Tufa is there. We've got literally a parade of cars heading in where you are, Bonza. Quick pit stop for Silk as he rejoins in the competition to head back out as well.
No tires, adjustments only for these
adjustments
teams
only,
here.
and that's what they said the story was going to be. There's Phil Moran in that shot there, checking with his crew members. He was the guy that you heard that said, quick stop, let's get him right back out. And so that was the story. Meanwhile, Doug Kobe's car picking up at the rear of the field. It returns to the competition as well. So here we are, 38 laps now up on the board. And this, the Whelen Modified Tour Stop the Bullring special here from the Seekonk Speedway. Bob Caton's J&R Precast 150.
Matt Hirschman also making a stop here under this caution, along with Austin Beers, Corey Plummer, also rejoining the field at the tail end. He was one of the final cars on the lead lap prior to this caution a couple of laps ago. Those teams electing to stop here, 5 in total here on lap number 36 to make adjustments. Again, no tires allowed to be changed during the running of this event. It's a no tire change event here on these short bull rings that we'll have periodically throughout the season.
And, you know, nobody seemed to be concerned or upset with that. They all felt that they had a tire and a combination that would work. Looking at the starter stand, Sean Houlihan looks the field over, one finger in the air, and, of course, the clench yellow. Now he's taking the clench green. You're looking at the front row as they come to you. Steven Kopsick to the inside, and Justin Bonsignor on the outside. Kopsick has not led a lap so far. Will the restart tell the story? Here they come, back towards one.
Back underway we go, and Justin Bonsignor picking up right where he left off at the front of the field, but Steven Kopsick back to the inside. That car now looks good on the bottom, like Bonsignor did in the first run of this race. In car 51, roles reversed. Here comes Kopsick to the inside. John McKennedy, pretty good seat of this battle, running in the third spot in car number 79.
Also, we want to keep our eyes on the number 82 car. That is the Danny Watson race car. And, of course, the young man behind the wheel is Andrew Moeller, a former champion at Stafford, showing some muscle. Here's a bid for it. Will it change? Bottom of turn one. Kopsick takes Bonsignor up a lane, and it almost works. He steps on the gas. We've got leader number 3.
6 1,000ths of a second last time by between the top two. Kopsick now able to clear, or try to clear, Justin Bonsignor on the back straightaway. Justin will come back to the outside. Steven looks good on the inside and drives that 21 car a little bit higher up on the racetrack on entry into turn number 1, and that's all the room he needs. Here's Justin now with the crossover, car 51. Bonsignor goes right back to the bottom where he found so much success in the first 30 laps of this event.
And it's showing all over again. Rinse and repeat is the story. As they come off the turn, Bonsignor is back in command. Kopsick says no way. He'll try to make the same move work. It doesn't stick, but at the bottom of turn number 3, they rub rails. They come back to the stripe, still side by side. No one is giving up an inch in this bid for the lead.
This is fun to watch, but these two also don't want to burn their stuff up here in the first third of this event. Still a long way to go. 100 laps to run when they hit the line. A little bit of contact among the race leaders in turn one this time by. Kopsick to the bottom, Justin Bonsignor in the outside lane, and again, leaning on each other just a bit at the stripe. It's Kopsick by 0.04 of a second.
Now keep your eyes on John McKennedy, the 79 car, setting in that third position. McKennedy has been studying. Oh, all of a sudden, Bonsignor went from the inside to the outside, directly in front of John McKennedy. Andrew Moeller is there, side by side, bid for the third spot. The rookie, the youngster, is showing one of the veterans how to get around here at Seekonk Speedway.
A couple of champions up there, third and fourth. An SK champion and Andrew Moeller in the fourth spot, trying to take a former champion of this tour down in position number 3, talking about John McKennedy. Battle for the lead is on again. Here comes Bonsignor, goes to the outside of the racetrack this time. Stephen Kopsick to the bottom. Not sure he was expecting that, but here comes Justin. Pulls all the way up alongside off of turn 2 and up the back straightaway here on lap number 55. Great racing at the front of the field here early on in this one.
While that has been happening, car number 44, Chase Dowling, is in the 6th position. He went around Patrick Emmerling to pick up the spot. Meanwhile, look very closely. When you get a shot of the back end of the 21 car, you will see that the left side of the rear I-beam bumper is literally pushed up. That was contact with Bonsignor just a few laps ago. Still, a battle raging, and meanwhile, Dowling has moved into 5th, Moeller is into 4th, Michael Christopher in 6th, Patrick Emmerling for 7th.
And a lot of contacts toward the front of the field with the Nerf bars and the bumpers here early on in this one, and potentially more here. Justin Bonsignor continuing to dig hard on the bottom to the inside of turn number 4. Kopsick looks comfortable in that second lane of the racetrack, able to keep the momentum up, and that's where the car seems to be handling best right now.
The guy that is really on the move also is Chase Dowling. He is with that 44 car and now moves to the inside. Dowling, for the first time, has broken into the top 5. He made contact with Moeller. Moeller did a great job of gathering it back. John McKennedy is fighting and sawing on the wheel right now, and that's a great battle.
McKennedy got a bit out of shape last time in all of that contact in turn number 2, and now is trying to fend off Moeller for the 3rd spot. That's a good race, just behind the top 2 of Kopsick and Bonsignor. No change among the top 2. Battle for 3rd is best. Andrew Moeller, Jonathan McKennedy, still for about the 4th time by side, just in front of Chase Dowling.
No question about it. That's that side-by-side battle. Now all of a sudden, it appears that Moeller has a little bit more momentum in the outside lane. Dowling's got a car that's dialed in on the bottom. The S&S Paving Tinio car. Looking strong. He'll make a bid down underneath McKennedy. Closed. Can't do it. The door suddenly shuts. Meanwhile, behind him, also coming forward, is Tyler Ripkema. Craig Lutz has now moved into the top 10. Paulie Hartwig and Kyle Bonsignor.
Kyle Bonsignor just out of the top 10 right now in the 11th spot, trying to inside of we talked about under the last 35 lap run of Green Flag Racing, that lap traffic was about to be a factor. Well, we're inching toward that mark, and is a cluster of about 4 cars just in front of the leaders now off of turn 2, and a couple of them off the pace. Could get be a very crowded racetrack right here for the top runners.
Coming up on a lap traffic, pulls to the inside. Heggie goes up the hill, and all of a sudden, our leader makes it through.
He does for Stephen Kopsick. Justin Bonsignor having a little bit tougher time in the 2nd spot. Corey Plummer, next car to go a lap down from the race leader of Kopsick, 3 lengths back to Bonsignor, who has to navigate that same traffic. Jonathan McKennedy is there in 3rd. Andrew Moeller, a couple of car lengths back in the 4th spot. John Michael Chanette also falling off the lead lap.
Meanwhile, let's take a look further back in the field, and all of a sudden, Austin Beers, remember he spun earlier, he's back up to the top 13. He's currently running in the 13th position behind Kyle Bonsignor, now into the 12th spot. There he is with Matt Swanson. That's a good battle right there as it continues to grow. Remember, this kid has been so consistent, you can't rattle Austin Beers. There's no question about that.
The cause of the first caution after a spin in turn number 2 on lap 35. Austin Beers making his way back up through the running order. Not coming back up through. Ron Silk still in 18th. Doug Kobe in 20th. Matt Hirschman in 21st. Eric Goodale in 22nd. All hanging on right now under this long green flag run. We are at the halfway mark already. Just 19 minutes into this event. 75 down, 75 to go. It's been fun to watch up front. Steven Kopsick leads now by a half second, which is probably the largest lead we have seen tonight, over Justin Bonsignor, John McKennedy, Chase Dowling, and Andrew Moeller, the top 5.
Meanwhile, we're looking at this battle as they come up on lap traffic. It is Dave Zapienza being passed by Dowling, who is being shown in the 4th position. Moeller is back in the 5th spot, and now Patrick Emmerling has moved into the top 6. Michael Christopher has dropped back to 7th with Craig Lutz in 8th. Things are starting to settle in single file as we approach, well, just past the halfway marker in this event.
Working lap number 80 right now, and here's Emmerling to the inside of Moeller. This is the race for the 5th spot. Moeller in that orange number 82. Here comes the USNE power sponsored number 1, the Energizer 1 of Patrick Emmerling to the inside. Lap traffic ahead of Sapienza in that 36. He could affect the outcome of this race for the 5th position. Michael Christopher Jr. just a length back in 7th as they go back to turn number 2, and that battle about 2 seconds behind the race leader, Steven Kopsick.
Certainly is, and Patrick Emmerling is now trying to get closer to Dowling, who's in the 4th spot. Emmerling in the 5th position, and that bumped Michael Christopher back to the 7th spot with Craig Lutz setting in the 8th spot. Patrick Emmerling is starting to pick up and gain some momentum as he has now moved into the top 5. Dowling is just in front of him with the number 44 car. Great run for Andrew Moeller. This kid keeps digging and digging. Same can be said for Michael Christopher,
who is in a battle for position with Michael Christopher Jr. Keeping an eye on Patrick Emmerling, car number 1. Up front, more lap traffic in front. Steven Kopsick, John McKennedy, Eric Goodale. That lap car, the number 58, falls off of the lead lap as he goes wide to the outside of turn 4. Let's check in the pit area and bring in Bonza Tufa with more.
Steven Kopsick, the race leader, has not said much about the car. Very quiet, which means it's pretty good. Second place, John McKennedy now in the 79. He says the car is just a little bit tight, just a skosh on the tight side. Justin Bonsignor in 3rd, a little bit free. Not too bad, just a little bit loose through the corners, but they're running solid right now, keeping up with Kopsick.
Will they continue to run directly in his tire tracks? Meanwhile, all of a sudden, Chase Dowling has reeled in on the back bumper of Justin Bonsignor. That's the battle for the 3rd and the 4th spot. And now Dowling throws the car to the inside, but Bonsignor shuts the door and is able to hold on and maintain that spot.
That's allowing the top 2 to get away just a bit. Kopsick and McKennedy as this battle for 3rd continues. Another run to the inside for Chase Dowling on Bonsignor in the 51, who drifts up the hill just a bit off of turn number 4. 3rd and 4th now 7/10 of a second behind the top 2. And in fact, the battle for the lead tightening up as well. McKennedy on the back bumper of Kopsick as this race for 3rd, now into its 4th lap, continues in turn number 1. Caution is out, spin back straightaway. Looks like another solo spin.
It is for the number 56 car that brings out the caution. That is, of course, one of the Catalano cars that brings out the caution. And that will bring out caution number 2. 92 laps show on the scoreboard. And this is going to be a crucial caution because this is going to change the complexity of this event considerably. Remember, everybody told us there is no tire change here. However, you can make a chassis adjustment. And we've seen that in the first caution. But we are now, well, we're reaching the 3/4 mark of this event.
Catalano making his 35th NASCAR Whelen Modified start here tonight. Started the season with a lot of promise. Top 10 effort at the New Smyrna Speedway in Florida. An 11th place run at the Martinsville Speedway. Had some suspension issues a couple of weeks back at Thompson. And now the spin here, putting him deep in the running order. 94 laps in. Told you it was going to be a quick race. You have to be on at the start of the event to have a shot at this one here tonight. And there are some drivers that have been, and others like Ron Silk that have not been, that we might see back on the pit lane here during this caution, as he is one of several cars that stepped out of line.
Certainly has, and we're going to see if anybody is going to be among the takers that will be heading back to the pit area. As again, Dave Zapienza's the car, first car on the outside, the red number 36 car.
Silk was last in on lap number 36, as was Matt Hirschman, and both of those cars, it looks like, may be heading back that way once the green light comes on, which it has just illuminated over in turn 4.
Literally 10 cars are heading back to the pit area where Monza Tufa is there, and let's see if we can find out what's going on as we're taking a look at backstage. Bonza?
Ron Silk is on pit road right now. He's been complaining that the car is loose. They're going to make an adjustment, a chassis adjustment on the 16 machine. Matt Hirschman, his car's loose as well. They're going to make a track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment, trying to tighten that 60 up. They're happy this caution came out. It's a break for them as they look to find the handle on that 60 car. Kyle Bonsignor, the 22, is away. Trevor Catalano's away. It looks like Kyle Bonsignor, one of the first cars coming out.
Teddy Hodgson also in the pit area here under this caution flag. Kyle Bonsignor, one of the first car heading for the tunnel over there in turn number 3, as you see the cars come back out onto the speedway. Matt Swanson in the 89 is one of them. Doug Coby, Ron Silk, all making their way out of the pit area back onto the racetrack. Matt Hirschman, and then there's Teddy Hodgson in the 05.
So that's the way they come back out and rejoin the field. So next we're going to be taking a look. We'll reset the field for you. And Stephen Kopsick, of course, has been the dominant car so far. John McKennedy is being shown in second. Justin Bonsignor setting in the 3rd position. Chase Dowling has moved up to the 4th spot. Patrick Emmerling is in position number 5. Andrew Moeller, the 82 car, is 6th. Michael Christopher is 7th. Craig Lutz is 8th. Tyler Ripkema is 9th. And Paulie Hartwig will round out the top 10.
Bringing you deeper in the rundown, Austin Beers battling back from that lap 35 spin, runs in 11th. Tommy Catalano in 12th. Joey Cipriano 13th. Jaden Harmon in his first start here on the tour here tonight. Practiced well, qualified well, and is running well right now. Mid-pack in 14th. Matt Swanson in the 15th position. Then we get back, in fact, Swanson, one of those cars that just pitted, along with Kyle Bonsignor in 16th, Ron Silk in 17th, Doug Coby 18th, Matt Hirschman 19th, and Trevor Catalano, who went around off of turn number 2 to put us under this second caution flag of the evening, runs in 20th.
That's right. Back in 21st, Teddy Hodgson, Eric Goodale 22nd, Dave Zapienza, who pitted 23rd, Ken Heggie is 24th, Corey Plummer 25th, and John Michael Chanette will round out the top 26.
So you get a good look at Stephen Kopsick, left side of your screen, and what a year he has been having been. They say once you get that first one, the second one comes a little bit easier, and it did. Won at the Martinsville Speedway in race number 2, came right back one race later to win at Thompson. You get a good look at Silk there. He had to earn this first win, had to hold off Ron Silk coming to the checkered flag at the Martinsville Speedway a couple of months ago.
And that is no easy accomplishment. There's the big victory hug. But he repeated it at Thompson Speedway. Came back, and it's not easy to win there as well. And he would take down back-to-back victories. We're ready to get him fired back up. Will Kopsick be in the winner's circle again? Green, and we're racing here at Seekonk.
Electing to restart this one in the outside lane for Stephen Kopsick with Jonathan McKennedy to his inside in the 79. McKennedy putting up a fight down there on the bottom. Kopsick with that high side momentum has a half a car length as they come back to the line now within the final 50 laps of this J&R Precast 150 here for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. And it's been fun to watch all night at the front. It's intense again. Kopsick, McKennedy, Dowling, and Justin Bonsignor tightly bunched just after this restart.
There's no question about it. Bonsignor is trying to get back down underneath Chase Dowling. Dowling has moved to the outside. He's changed his line just a bit, running the center groove at this point. Dowling sets in that third position, and now right there with him is Andrew Moeller. Moeller's got a solid run as Bonsignor continues to, well, stutter step a bit. But here comes Austin Beers. Just like we said, Kyle, he is not to be left out of a top finish here today.
In the 7th spot and wanting more to the inside of Patrick Emmerling in car number 1, just to the right of your screen, behind the orange number 82 of Andrew Moeller, who is in a battle of his own with Justin Bonsignor in the 51 and Chase Dowling in the 44. Here's Bonsignor inside, race for third. Bonsignor's been strong all night on the bottom, but a lot of these teams like that second lane and the momentum that comes with it, including Chase Dowling in the 44 right now, slotting the line in third.
Bonsignor got a little bit loose that time. Contact was almost made. Then all of a sudden, Patrick Emmerling found a home to the inside. Couldn't complete the mission there as well. Beers is directly behind them to the right side of your screen with car number 64. That works to the advantage of Chase Dowling, because just a lap or so ago, Bonsignor was banging on his bumper trying to make the transition. Now that's suddenly changed. Here comes Beers.
Battle for 9th got intense a moment ago with Michael Christopher Jr., Paulie Hardwick further back, just out of frame, as here comes to the inside Beers. He is on a mission after drawing the first caution flag of this event on lap 35 with a spin up the back straightaway. Has had to race his way through the field, and indeed he has, to the inside of Moeller now to move the 64 back into the top 5.
He has come a long way. Perhaps he's passed more cars than anyone in this field after that early spin around lap number 35. Good racing still happening there. Back up front, here we go again. This time, Beers is sideways. He gathers it back rather nicely. Behind him is Patrick Emmerling. Emmerling makes the move, pulls to the inside of Andrew Moeller, and now Patrick Emmerling has picked up and moved into the top 6.
Glad you could join us here on this short track Saturday night from the Seekonk Speedway. Down to it, 114 of 150 complete for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, and it's Stephen Kopsick at the point. John McKennedy, Chase Dowling, 1, 2, 3. Battle for 4th, Bonsignor and Beers. Then Emmerling just behind them, trying to fend off Andrew Moeller in the 82. Great battle for 4th as we keep an eye also on the top 3 with 34 to go.
There's no question about this. It is Stephen Kopsick who's now starting to slow down the pace just a bit. John McKennedy is in the 2nd spot. He is the quicker of the top 3. And then it is Chase Dowling. Meanwhile, look out, because here comes Beers. Pulls to the inside of Justin Bonsignor. Austin Beers moving forward. He's got position number 4. I don't think he's done yet, Kyle.
1.3 seconds to the group in front of him, and they are the leaders. Kopsick, McKennedy, and Dowling. Beers in 4th, and is closing. Ran one of the fastest laps among the race or the lead lap cars last time by. So car 64 might have time to get there, but will he have anything left when he gets there if this race stays under the green flag for the final 30 laps?
No question. Where we're looking at the top 3. Bumper to bumper off the turn. Kopsick still in command. McKennedy is there. Here's Dowling. Again, he'll try to make a bid for it, but it just doesn't work. Back off the turn, and it is still Kopsick, the star of this one.
Little
McKennedy
contact.
tries to move, yep, and then almost.
Trying to build the momentum in the outside lane for John McKennedy and set him up for a bonsai run to the inside last time by. This time he stays topside of Stephen Kopsick in the 21, the race leader. And remember Austin Beers, who had about 15 car lengths between himself and this lead battle. That's no more. Beers is all but there. A four-way race up front with 25 laps to go here at Seekonk.
Down to the wire with 25 circuits remaining. Here comes, all of a sudden contact. Dowling rubbed with the John McKennedy race car for a bid for that third and second position. Now they pull back in the line, but here comes Austin Beers. He is coming to the front, and he isn't done yet. 126 of 150 in the J&R Precast Whelen Modified Tour event from Seekonk Speedway.
Steven Kopsik looking for 3 in a row. Let's get more from his pit now in Bonza Tufa.
Kopsik has remained quiet, but they're telling him, protect the inside. Give him the outside. Want it, but don't let the hole open down low. They're side by side for the lead. McKennedy's going to try the outside.
John McKennedy gives it his all in the upper lane. We've got a brand new leader, but it's short-lived. But now McKennedy inches away. John McKennedy has taken over the lead on lap number 129.
Well, while Kopsik was protecting the inside lane, John McKennedy said, well, I have this other 70 feet or so of racetrack to my right, and I will take full advantage of it. And he did just that. Was able to get the momentum built up and take the race lead from Steven Kopsik, who settles into line in second. Chase Dowling now will challenge for that runner-up spot. Dowling and Kopsik nose to nose for second, just in front of Austin Beers, who has kind of stalled out just a bit in that fourth position.
Chase Dowling puts that Tenio race car to the inside. Danny Gamache has prepared a winning race car today. Will it pay off, or will time run out? Kopsik takes back the second spot. Dowling drops back in the S&S paving car, and all of a sudden Austin Beers is trying to get in striking distance. Dowling is using a lot of that car and a lot of the racetrack, really working over Steven Kopsik.
4 prior starts for John McKennedy here in the NASCAR Modified Tour at Seekonk, and he has had a tough time getting the victory lane. He has run well in other divisions as the battle for second continues, and that is allowing McKennedy to pull now to a 1-second lead over Kopsik, Dowling, and Beers, second, third, and fourth.
Again, here comes another late event charge between Austin Beers, who's now closed in on Dowling, giving the advantage to Steven Kopsik. Kopsik still trying to hold on for second, but Jonathan McKennedy.
There comes Tommy Catalano in the 54, beginning to move forward. And how about Jaden Harmon just behind Catalano in car number 9? This battle into the top 10, that is 7th and 8th on the racetrack. Check that, 6th and 7th on the racetrack. Andrew Moeller has faded to position number 8. Justin Bonsignor in 9th, coming to 10 to go. This one zipping right along. Jonathan McKennedy right where he wants to be, and that is at the front of the field.
Now we're going to take a look and go back up to look at that battle that has been raging between Chase Dowling and Austin Beers. Dowling working his magic through the outside lane of traffic, but now it appears that Beers is close, but no cigar. Tommy Catalano came from the 24th starting position and has worked his way into the top 6. What a great run for Catalano with car 54.
Having a good run indeed for Tommy, just out of the top 5 in the 6th position. There he is up the back straightaway, just in front of Jaden Harmon in his series debut, and has been among the top 15 the entire distance, and now finds himself in the top 10 here with 7 laps to go. It'll be 6 at the line. A little bit of lap traffic in front of the race leader for John McKennedy as he continues to open up a pretty good lead. 1.5 seconds back to Steven Kopsik right now, with the 36 just in front for Dave Sapienza. He'll move that car to the 2nd lane. Race leader, plenty of room on the bottom.
Meanwhile, it's still a good battle for a little further back between Steven Kopsik and Chase Dowling for the 2nd and 3rd spot. Austin Beers still in the 4th position. Patrick Emerling is up to 5. 4 circuits remaining. John McKennedy, the star of the show, started in the 6th position.
Been since 2022 since he's been to victory lane. That came at the Claremont Speedway, just one of 2 wins. Looking for victory number 3 for Jonathan McKennedy here tonight, and he's in pretty good position right now. In traffic, his driving away has built a 1.6-second lead coming to the final few laps. In fact, the white flag is out, Ben. 1 lap to go for Jonathan McKennedy here at Seekonk.
Jonathan McKennedy is back in winning form in the state of Massachusetts. His home state, as Jonathan McKennedy will take down the win in the J&R Precast 150 for the Whelen Modified Tour. Stephen Kopsick will finish in second with car number 21. Chase Dowling will finish in the 3rd spot. Austin Beers, the comeback kid, will finish again consistently in the 4th position. And rounding out the top 5 is Tommy Catalano, who came from way in the back of the field to make his presence known in the top 5. Patrick Emerling was 6th. Teddy Hodgson was 7th. Jaden Harmon, first time ever in a modified, finishes among the top 8. Doug Colby is 9th, and Andrew Moeller is 10th.
So Jonathan McKennedy picks up the race win here tonight, his first of the season. In fact, his first in nearly 4 years, dating back to Claremont in 2022. For Jonathan, the 2022 Series champion, back in victory lane here tonight, and we will go trackside, hear from him and some of the other top finishers in a race that saw just 2 caution flags, one of the quicker events that we have seen here at Seekonk Speedway, both for single car spins on the back straightaway, involving Austin Beers on lap 35 and Trevor Catalano on lap number 92. 38 minutes, 21 seconds. The time of the J&R Precast 150 here this evening for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour.
Not a surprise at all that he was able to get the job done, and we did have some surprises in the event, of course. Early laps in the competition, we saw Michael Christopher set a pace, and then, of course, Justin Bonsignore came out of the box looking like a shoe-in, and then it all changed. Then it was Kopsick who worked his magic and came to the front of the field, held off the opposition. Some damage done to the back end of the sheet metal, and what about Chase Dowling with another strong run?
So we'll hear from Jonathan McKennedy. We didn't talk much about it, but Austin Beers and that charge through the field currently, or will finish in the 4th position. That continues his streak of top 10 finishes. 34 consecutive top 10s now for Austin, dating back to his last finish out of the top 10, a 26th place effort at Richmond a couple of seasons ago, the 2nd race of 2024. Victory lane getting set up down here on the front straightaway for Jonathan McKennedy. First win of the season here on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Snaps a couple of streaks. Stephen Kopsick won't get that 3rd consecutive win. Matt Hirschman won't get that 4th consecutive win here at Seekonk.
Sure is, and as we said before, great comeback run for Austin Beers to be able to work his magic and get to the front of the field. Chase Dowling, there he is talking with his buddy Stephen Kopsick. Dowling only runs a very limited schedule in 2026, and this is one of his favorite tracks, and what a great run for him to be able to finish up on the podium as the top 5 are in the winner's circle. And now Bonza Tufa will be heading down to meet and greet, and there's the big smile on the winner. And, of course, the big victory handshake. There is the Sunoco Racing Fuels flag. And John McKennedy, very familiar sight to winning here at Seekonk Speedway, Kyle. He's done it in all forms of touring racing, and he's getting congratulated as we speak.
And now we can add a NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour victory to his resume here at Seekonk as he is set to climb out. We'll go down trackside here in just a moment, and Bonza Tufa, who will talk to our race winner of the J&R Precast 150, Jonathan McKennedy. Set to climb out of the car. Here he comes. Let's go down trackside to Bonza.
John McKennedy celebrates the victory in the J&R Precast 150 here at Seekonk Speedway. John McKennedy running the 79 team. Let's go over these last 20 laps, John. You have Stephen Kopsick in front of you. He wasn't going to make it easy on you, but you got by him on the outside. How were you able to make that car roll the top like that?
Yeah, we just had a really good car, to be honest, and as the race went on, it seemed like the top got better, and my car was definitely better up top. When I ran the bottom, I was too loose in, and at times it was a handful, and I could see Steven there at the end, looked like he was getting real tight, so a few times I tried to work the outside and sneak under him and kind of give him a little trick there, but he was good enough to know what I was doing, and I was finally able to keep rolling the top, and once I got a wheel on him, he gave me all the room I needed, so thanks, Steven, for running me clean. I appreciate it. Just overall, great to be back at Victory Lane here with the NASCAR Modified Series.
How much better does it feel being that you run this team and you're doing it with you and your guys?
Oh, it's great. It's satisfying feeling for sure. This is something I put together just 2 years ago. I had a great bunch of people behind me that wanted to see me keep going, and it's been a great few years, really. We've won a whole bunch of races and whole different types of series, and to be back here in Victory Lane with the NASCAR Wheel Modified Series is just great. So big shout out to Bobby Caton, J&R Precast. Thank you guys so much. All the fans at Seekonk. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Got one more thing to do. We have this draw, the American Racer Tire Poll, to see which finisher will get a free set of tires for the next event at Riverhead Raceway. It's not every position. And who is it?
Number 24.
The 24th place finisher will be getting a new set of tires. That's Corey Plummer in the 95 team. They'll get a new set of tires as John McKennedy celebrates his first win of 2026, winning the J&R Precast 150 at the Seekonk Speedway.
Like he mentions, has had so much success here in other forms of modified racing at Seekonk, but in recent years has had a tough time finishing these NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour events. Not only does he finish tonight, but he finishes at the front of the field to take the checkered flag.
Sure does, and Bob Keaton was down there to congratulate him on a very deserving and a very impressive victory. Well, as we said before, Steven Kopsick was looking to, make it 3 in a row, but he came just a little bit short. Nothing to be ashamed of by any stretch of the imagination here. But right now, we'll go back down as Bonza Tufa has our second place winner, Steven Kopsick.
Steven Kopsick's bid for 3 in a row falls 1 spot short. You were up front in the closing laps. What more did you need out of the car to hold off the 79?
Not much more. We were pretty good. Just started maybe a little too tight, and this is all new to us. Racing on this tire on a bullring track like this. So all in all, couldn't be happier with our performance. 3 in a row really would have been something. But John just turned the middle a little bit better than me, and towards the end of the run there, that's what it comes down to. It's a fine line between being too free and still being able to turn the middle. But congratulations to him. They work hard. Can't thank everyone enough that makes this happen. Tom Wanick, my car owner back home, I know he's watching. Wanick Construction, Franzosa Trucking, Carstrom Warehousing Logistics, Joe Kress, Harry's You Pull It, Newtown Pools, my dad, all my crew that comes out, and we've really been clicking together, and hopefully we got more to come here.
3 straight top 2 finishers for Steven Kopsick. A second place tonight, but the roll continues for the 21 team as the point leader. Now we're going to go to our third place finisher in the Tenio 44, Chase Dowling. Chase, when we were talking during practice, you were pretty confident about the car. You were just wondering about long-run speed. How was the long-run speed to end this race?
It was really good. I can't thank Tenio's SNS Asphalt Paving. Every single crew member, we worked so hard. We got a really good group of guys this year. Can't thank everyone behind me. I'm just a driver holding the wheel. So really great day, obviously. We redrew 10th, so we had some bad luck there and just went through the field and ended up 3rd. So we had a really good day and some good progress.
How much does this help in terms of getting notes for future races this season, getting used to the American Racer tire?
The part-time schedule hurts, but thanks to Frog and his wife Gwen did a great job all day on the tires. And like I said, we have a great crew. Danny's been working so hard on this thing, and just really, really proud. We have really good people behind us, really great sponsors, cars. Can't thank my family, my wife, everyone back home. So just having fun and just a little good momentum.
Having fun is the most important part, and Chase Dowling is enjoying the solid solid success, finishing third in the J&R Precast 150. Now we're going to make our way to a driver who had quite a rebound. After a mid-race spin, Austin Beers comes home fourth. Another great run at Seekonk, but it was tough to get there. You had that spin. It seemed like you were fighting a car on edge. How did you guys get the handle on the 64?
Yeah, the score sheet's going to show us going from third to fourth, but that doesn't tell the story. I was dead sideways to start the race, and then it got out from under me there out of two, and the crew did an amazing job with the pit stop. We swapped lefts, which I didn't think would be possible without going a lap down, but they did it. They've been on all year, but just kind of catfished the bottom. I was still sideways out there, but was just trying to conserve as I was coming through the field, and then I kind of just ran out of grip there late. But I can't thank everybody enough on the KLM Motorsports team, Mike and Maggie Murphy, for allowing me to drive their race car, and the crew did a great job. Everybody at SSR Suspension as well. We'll go to Riverhead and try to repeat.
Austin Beers has a win last year at Riverhead Raceway, looking to do it again this season, but a great run tonight, bouncing back from his spin to finish fourth. And then we got the guy who comes home fifth in the closing laps, Tommy Catalano. We talked after practice, and you were so concerned about how this race was going to go. You end up top five after a charge in the last run. How did you guys pull that off?
You talked to us just before the race, and we didn't give up. We tried to stay in good spirits, and we had a rough start to the day. We were 25th out of 26 in the first practice, 24th out of 26 in the second, qualified 24th, and we went to work on just what we needed to do to get the balance where it needed to be and be better. And honestly, we did a ton of laps in practice. We felt like we had good long run speed, good balance for late in the race, and I think we did between the two practices over 100 laps, on the set of tires. So it was just something that, I'm excited to unload with this package next time and tweak on it and move forward, hopefully. But when you talked to me before the race, I would have been happy to get out of here with a top 20 at that point. So I definitely can't complain.
Big confidence booster for you and your team, though.
Yeah, absolutely. This is huge. It's something to work on and kind of figure out where we're at and move forward from here. And I can't thank everybody that helps back in the pits. All the crew, my mom, dad, my wife, and daughter back at home couldn't be here today. So big support. Long nights out in the shop, and I'm glad it could pay off. Obviously, FX Caprera, Power and Construction, USNE Power, and I just got to say thanks to all you fans for coming out here, and hopefully we'll see you in a few weeks on Wednesday night.
He wasn't sure if it was the car or the driver, but they worked together in the end to get a career best finish at Seekonk. Tommy Catalano finishes fifth in an exciting, dramatic J&R Precast 150. Ben and Kyle, a fantastic show in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour.
Indeed it was, from the drop of the green flag.
Sure was.
Hot and heavy racing at the front of the field, and it will continue in a couple of weeks' time, Ben, as we go to Long Island for the first of a couple of visits this season.
Riverhead Raceway will be the next stop on May 30th, and the rescheduled Oxford Plains Speedway in the great state of Maine on June 6th. White Mountain Motorsports Park on June 20th.
July 1st, right back here to the Seekonk Speedway, Claremont Motorsports Park on July 10th, and the Monadnock Speedway on July 25th. A lot of short bull ring racetracks coming up on the schedule for the NASCAR Whelen Modifieds.
Well, it's been an incredible night of competition here at the Vendetti family Seekonk Speedway. They called it the Cement Palace, but believe you me, tonight's competition proved to be highly competitive. Come back and join us on July 1st as we'll do it all over again.
That'll do it here for race number 4 for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Jonathan McKennedy picking up the win on a beautiful Saturday evening here in Massachusetts. His first win of the 2026 season. For Bonza Tufa in the pit area and Ben Dodge here in the tower, I'm Kyle Rickey congratulating Jonathan McKennedy, winning the J&R Precast 150 here tonight at Seekonk Speedway.